This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by X Insurance. X Insurance. From the Sig Sauer Studios. On the Patriot Mobile Platinum microphone. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Yeah, let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Friday. We're here to, I say start your weekend, yeah, but we're here to end your work week for you as well on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, coming to you from the ranch. Patriot Mobile microphone lit up here at the 6 Hour Studios, all being brought to you by the great X Insurance. Greg in Dallas, Texas. How you doing, my brother?
Not too bad. It's TGI Friday.
Ta-da! Yes, it is. We ran an encore for you guys yesterday. And so those of you, I have already seen some emails. The podcast, I don't put the podcast up when it's an encore, okay? Because it's a repeat. We ran a repeat from last weekend's first hour of the Monster Cast. So those of you who have a question of why it's not up, that's why. This show will go up within minutes of the show airing today. Greg, if you would be kind enough to tell people where to watch the program and all that fun stuff, participate in the chat, we'll get cracking with our guest student of the gun, Paul Markle.
Sure. If you want to watch the show, just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters over on YouTube and Rumble. On X, it's at AAR Mark. To join the live chat, all you have to do is download the Telegram messaging app, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, you can catch us over there, and make sure to follow us over there, and make sure to spread the post around. We appreciate it. Like them, share them, all that fun stuff. Follow us over there, and you can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Armed American Radio as well to watch the broadcast. Let's get started for the day to end your work week on 2A News. Paul Markle, student of the gun, the professor. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm just great, man. It's sunny here. It's supposed to get at the upper 70s today. It's going to be a really nice day.
That is a nice day in Wyoming, isn't it? That's a nice day at this time of year in Wyoming.
Yes.
Hey, I just can't think. I think about Wyoming. I think of Liz Cheney. That pig reared her ugly head yesterday, continuing the Trump rag. I mean, clearly doesn't get it. But, Democrats in there, one right after the other. We would welcome you to the party. We would welcome you to the party. Please jump ship. Get away from those nasty, terrible Republicans. Get away from Trump. Come to us. Come to us. Come to us. That's how bad they are, Paul. They think Jasmine Crockett, AOC are their future, and they're just screaming for Liz Cheney. That tells me they got nothing. Nothing.
More power to them.
Yeah, right. Let them keep talking.
When your enemy's making a mistake, get out of their way and let them continue.
That's the old art of war. Sun Tzu said that a couple thousand years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it is in the book, too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of the translation. Paul, Colorado's a mess. We're going to spend an inordinate amount of time today talking about Colorado. It is a mess. And I want to start, because this is right up your alley, with a tweet that I put out earlier this morning. Colorado Gov signs one of the worst gun ban bills in history. If you live in state histories, and it is. If you live in Colorado, you need to make your voices heard. You've just been screwed. Elections matter. Make sure he knows how you feel. This is what you get with these freedom-hating Democrat clowns. And it was a press release coming out of the Colorado State Shooting Association, giving us the news that Wallace had signed SB 25-0003. And there was a response to that tweet. And I immediately thought about you. So I'm going to read the response from a gentleman it goes by Rain Haynes at Rain's Garden on Twitter. Tell me, we yell, we scream, we call, we leave messages, we email, we sign petitions. How much more would you like us to do? Just wondering, ? Have you lost any of your rights? Because we have. And the yelling and writing and calling and begging, they don't care. The government runs the show, and we bow, and they tell us that's our only choice. Fantastic comment to that tweet, and I immediately thought about you. Now, Paul, you and I and many others on this program warned back in November that the efforts of the gun grabbers were pushing towards the states. That's where the money's going. And this is what we're seeing. Colorado now, and I'm going to read through a statement from the Democrats today in Colorado. We'll do that in a few minutes because we have a lot to cover here on this topic. But how do you respond to Rains Garden at Rains Garden on Twitter with that, because it's a great question, and I did reply and let him know that we'd be talking about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's what I would say is, you guys have had 10 years or more to attempt to, quote, fix your state. Back when, remember when Lickenbottom signed the first one?
I do.
The first magazine ban?
Hickenlooper.
Yeah, Lickenbottom. And the boy who wanted to be president, I don't know what he's doing now. He's like selling insurance or something. But
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's right. But this is what happens when we take our foot off the gas. You know, the people up in New York, this is you. New York State, if you're listening, this is you. When Cuomo up there signed that emergency, panicked emergency bill where they stole people's rights in the middle of the night. And we had innumerable upstate New Yorkers tell me that, oh, this is it for him. We're going to get rid of Cuomo. The courts are going to overturn this. It's going to be gone. The SAFE Act, that's what we're talking about. It's going to be gone. It's not gone. Now, he's gone, but he's not gone because of you. He's not gone because of the 2A people. He's gone because the Democrat Party stabbed him in the back just like Caesar, and they decided that he needed to go, and they needed to replace him with a female socialist. But all these, they're like, what do you want us to do? I don't know. How you want me to fix your problems for you?
Now, let me stop you.
Let me stop you. Okay, go ahead.
Because I'm taking notes while you're talking. All right? Because I understand where Rains Garden is coming from. Okay? Now, I don't live in a blue state. Personally, I never would. Now, I have to preface it with this. I have the luxury. I can broadcast this show from Bangladesh if I want to and want to work weird hours, okay, for a U.S. market. So I do have that luxury. My wife does not, but my wife can get another job, right? But I do have that luxury. And Rains Garden might not. And I understand that. Californians, New Yorkers,
Brother,
you were talking about.
I'm not talking about moving.
No. But here's where I want to go.
Moving,
Hold on. This will be a lively conversation, folks. You said you've had 10 years to fix the state, and this is what happens when you take the foot off the gas. Now, I can hear him and other Coloradans right now screaming in their heads, my God, we've done everything we're supposed to do. We got an influx of California liberals come rolling in here. How do we combat that? Now, I'm not going to pretend to have the answer to that question, other than because one individual can't change anything. So I understand the frustration. But I do want to tackle the question. Okay, that's why I want to tackle this today.
Look at do we not study history as adult humans? Did we not study the history of the United States of America? Did you throw the lessons of your founders in the garbage? Do you not know? When people, the reason that Colorado and New York and California, and just keep filling in the blank of communist strongholds, the reason that those places are the way they are is because the inhabitants fear discomfort. They fear jail. They fear being ostracized. They fear loss of income. They fear all of those things more than they fear the loss of liberty. And when you have a people who are more afraid to lose money or status or power or comforts than they are to lose liberty, then that is what you get. That's the history of the world. Not just the history of the United States, not just the history of Colorado. When you look at your guns as privileges from the state, when you look at your guns as sporting good implements, if you look at a gun and see anything other than an instrument of liberty, you don't have your mindset right. And sorry, not sorry. What do you think we're supposed to do for you? There are people overseas, in other countries that literally sacrifice their lives fighting against tyranny. And we're like, well, I wrote a letter and they didn't listen to me. No kidding. I could have told you all I've seen for months, the Colorado Gun Action League, writing letters and then going and I knew that it was a waste of oxygen. There's no way those people are going to listen to you because they don't have to listen to you.
Yeah, which is a point that was made by the commenter on Twitter. Now, we're getting ready to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation, ladies and gentlemen, because it's unfortunate. I do have an answer for the individual. And for many of you listening in Colorado right now that find yourselves in a very bad predicament, and we'll tell you, listeners, just how bad of a predicament Coloradans are in when we come back from the break. We're going to talk about this probably for the hour because the hour is going to fly right by. It always does.
Funny.
But I do have an answer for you. It's the best one I can give you when we come back here on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Don't go away. Back more. 3 more segments with Paul Markos, student of the gun, right after the break. Camera's on. Let's take a sip of that sugar-free Red Bull right when the mic goes on. How about that?
All right.
Let's not do that during the break. And let's not turn the AC in the studio on during the break either. following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom. But, ladies and gentlemen, Bud's Gun Shop has all kinds of specials. Make sure to go over to the site, click on the tab, and see what they have for you, because I guarantee they have something for you. Okay, there are exclusive online retailer. Bud's has everything you need. You need everything they have. You guys can find something together. I can promise you I have, and I know you can as well. BudsGunshop.com, BudsGunshop.com. Don't forget also AmmoSquared.com, AmmoSquared.com, and start stacking ammo over there. I'm well over 2,000 rounds now. I love Wednesdays. I get the email saying, you've got ammo, and that's a beautiful thing. AmmoSquared.com. One of the 10 fastest growing companies in Idaho for a reason. Fantastic idea, no brainer. Wish I had thought about it, but Dan Morton and the crew did, and they're great folks over there. Support them. AmmoSquared.com. I give just $15 a week. Gets me just ammo. It's just coming at me now. I love it. It's like a 401k for my ammo stash. Don't forget HeavensHarvest.com, HeavensHarvest.com for your emergency supplies, including the food and the 15-minute heat in the bag without the water, all that fun stuff. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. And let's not forget Emerson Knives. Man, I use that thing every single day. I used it 3 times today, unpacking some boxes that came just this morning. One of them was a new modem. Fixed a problem at the ranch. So you can do it too. EmersonKnives.com. Use the promo code AAR and take 10% off one of those fantastic products made right here in the United States of America by Ernie Emerson and his amazing family over there at EmersonKnives.com. All right, let's keep the conversation going. Paul Markel, student of the gun. Welcome back, brother. So,
all right,
you know, I do have an answer that might not like, because here's what this, you know, because I'm looking at this from the individual's point of view, right? I get it, believe me. Now, I don't live behind the blue wall, but I want to give a couple examples here. First, let me say this, that Rains Garden over there clearly feels the pain of what's happening in his state. Okay. You know, again, I say, tell me, we yell, we scream, we call, we leave messages, we email, we sign petitions. How much more would you like us to do? Just wondering, have you lost any of your rights? Because we have. So here's what I would tell him. Okay. You're going to have to yell louder. You're going to have to scream louder. You're going to have to call more. You're going to have to leave more messages. You're going to have to email more on steroids. You're going to have to sign bigger petitions. That's part of the game. You're going to have to do that. That is a gimme. But there will be money coming into this state now that wasn't there before, as larger groups come in behind you to put this thing in court. Now, unfortunately, Paul, the courts are liberal. The courts are going to uphold it. Even if you get lucky and get a judge that puts a stay, the state's not going to be enjoined. The thing's going to remain in effect, and this is going to take years to fix. There's no question about it. Now, I want to go back to Florida on this for a second. What does Florida have to do with Colorado? Paul, I can remember living in Florida for years and years and years. And I could not stand, when I left the state and traveled, seeing, when I was sitting in hotel rooms, advertisements in New York or New Jersey or anywhere else for that matter, begging people to come to Florida from these states. And I watched the state go from red to purple to starting to rut-row get blue before they fixed the problem. When they advertise these people to come in from these areas where we know we're going to be importing liberals, brother, it's a problem. See Eastern Oregon, see Eastern Washington, see upstate New York, for those of you listening in New York. See south of Newark, Salt Lake City, see south of Newark, east of Newark and Trenton. You have this problem behind the blue wall, okay? California, foregone conclusion. Now, I will say this, and I will not name names here. I don't want anybody to get in any trouble. But I work with people off the radio program, Paul, that we, you know, with a particular investor, a guy with money, that we talk about where to put money into helping some of these states. And I got to be honest with you, Colorado was pulled off because they're just throwing money down the drain. They got to go places they know they can fix problems immediately. That's an issue, Paul. And for the guys who live in Eastern Oregon, guys, gals, you know what I'm talking about here. For those of you that live in Washington, for those of you that are stuck behind that blue wall, you're just going to have to pound the table louder and harder. There is going to be outside help from large groups coming in. These will be challenged in court, but that's not going to fix your problem overnight, Paul. That's the best I got.
Well, what I've got is this. Let's go ahead and start with the individual sheriffs from the individual counties.
Thank you. I knew you were going to go there.
So go to the you've got to, the other side organizes. You know, as lunatic as they are, as evil as they are, and as violent, disgusting as they are, they organize.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so what you say, well, I just want to live my life. We all just want to live our lives. Mm-hmm. But the other side doesn't want to let you live your life. It doesn't matter that you've never harmed anyone with a gun. It doesn't matter that their gun control arguments have always failed. That doesn't matter at all. There's no truth in anything that they say. So when you're dealing with that, you need to go, all right, who's going to enforce these laws? Who's going to enforce them? I mean, the scumbags in Aurora that got together in this room and you know, engaged in a group and signed these bills, they're not going to go and kick people's doors in and arrest people and so on. No, it's going to be their minions. That's what they're counting on. They're counting on that their minions in law enforcement will enforce their edicts. So you need to contact your sheriff and you need to say, hey, what is I need to know. Don't give me some crap. Don't give me some mealy mouth crap. The governor and the Senate and the House just violated the Constitution of the United States of America. I want your take on that. And if they're like, well, you know, but
my job is to enforce the law.
Yeah, then you're a Gestapo agent.
Now,
okay.
No, but again, I want to break in here as we have this conversation. It's going to be ongoing today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read from yesterday from Colorado House Democrats. This was a statement put out by these evil scumbags yesterday. Today, Governor Jared Polis signed into law SB 25003, sponsored by Senators Tom Sullivan. Remember these names, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Sullivan, they're all Democrats. Tom Sullivan, Julie Gonzalez. Tom Sullivan is from Centennial. Julie Gonzalez is Denver. Speaker Pro Temp Andy Bozenecker, Fort Collins, and Representative Meg Froelich, Englewood. Beginning August 1st, 2026, SB 25003, we'll call it 003, implements and enforces Colorado's existing law by requiring a permit and firearm safety training to purchase high-powered firearms that accept detachable magazines, right? The bill also prohibits the purchase and sale of all rapid-fire conversion devices like bump stocks and binary triggers. High-capacity magazines, I'll take us to the break with this, Paul, then come back and continue on. High-capacity magazines are what put the mass into mass shootings. This is just Democrat propaganda, folks, but it's up on their page, which is why over a decade ago, Colorado Democrats passed legislation to prohibit magazines that hold over 15 rounds. This legislation is another in the list of policies I've worked on to develop evidence-based solutions and reduce gun violence of all types. The people of Colorado have mandated that we do something about the public health crisis, that is gun violence, so that's what we're going to do. Here we'll close this segment with this. Semi-automatic weapons and high-capacity magazines have been used far too many times to terrorize Colorado communities. When we come back, we'll continue. The conversation is ongoing. Colorado, you are definitely in the crosshairs, and we'll be back with Paul right after this.
Arms are guaranteed for life, trusted worldwide, and designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in America. Daniel Defense, freedom, passion, precision.
Yeah, Daniel Defense is freedom, passion, and precision, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 6 Hour Studios. Make sure to check out Daniel Defense, DanielDefense.com, the H9 pistol, all that fun stuff. Get on that email list. Get on those giveaways and those promotions over at DanielDefense.com. Somebody else with the promotions I was talking about a couple weeks ago, and last week, as late as last week, and that's Barrel Buddy. Yeah, you might be able to win a gun over at Barrel Buddy coming up in the near future. And it might be a brand you hear talked about on this show that we have a studio named after during the week. And you might also, in that promotion, get a supply of Barrel Buddies. All that could be happening. I'll keep you posted as we continue those discussions. And they are in discussions right now, and it's going to be fun when it finally pops. I'll let you know. You'll be the first ones to hear about it. But all of our partners, you can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. Paul Markel, student of the gun. Welcome back, my brother from another mother. Good to have you here.
Yeah, I don't know where you want to go with this, but do people not understand the phrase taxation without representation?
I believe so.
Do they really understand that or not? Because if you're in Colorado and you are a gun owner or you're a citizen and you're paying taxes to these people, you have no, it's like you said, well, what are we supposed to do? They don't listen to us. Then you are in a position where you are paying taxes and you do not have representation. You are in a taxation without representation position. Do you understand that? Do you understand the meaning of it? Well, what are we supposed to do? I don't know. What can you imagine if 200 some years ago our ancestors would have said, well, the British are in charge and they said we have to do this and we don't have a choice. We just have to. I mean, we asked them nicely to stop being so mean to us, and they said no.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you, because we talk about do not comply. There's lots of things I won't comply with. Okay, how do you not comply with a new law that if you want to buy a new gun, is going to require you to get a permit? In order to get that permit, a couple months of training, spend a bunch of money, and you've already got a bunch of guns. How do you go to a local gun shop in Colorado and buy a gun? How do you not comply with that? How does the sheriff not enforce that? What happens? Are you asking gun dealers?
Why are you giving your money to that state? They love money. Like I said, the other side, they know how to organize. As evil as they are, they know how to organize. These creatures in Aurora, I believe Aurora is the capital, right? That's where these scumbags live. It's not Denver, it's Aurora. Right. But I try to keep Colorado out of my mind as much as possible because it's a dirty, filthy, disgusting state. I don't know how much time you spent in Colorado, but every once in a while I'm forced to sojourn through the state, and it's disgusting. It's filthy. It's like you stop at a public rest area, you stop at a gas station, it's just filthy. But they love money. They love money. And if they believe that their money is in jeopardy, they'll shut up. But as long as you keep pumping money into a system that's going to enslave you, what do you expect them to do?
Yeah, see, here's a problem.
On your subservience.
You harm local gun shops in Colorado by saying, they're not going to get anything from me. Not meaning the gun shops, but the state, right? So I'm not going through that process. I'm not going to comply with that. I have guns. Yeah, and now think about this, Paul, for a second. You've been a gun owner, your entire adult life.
Since my 18th birthday.
Right. So how many guns do you need? Just one more, right? We all know that feeling. We all want that latest, greatest, coolest thing that's out there. But in Colorado, what do you do? So, because we've asked the question before. I've asked, for example, Justin Moon, CEO of Car Arms. I would love to see gun manufacturers say, you. I'm not selling. None of you are getting any of our weapons out there as long as you continue to screw law-abiding Americans out of their constitutional rights. I'm not selling you my product. I would love to see the industry as a whole get together and do that and force.
I got a question, Mark. Can I jump in for just
please.
1 quick second?
Go right ahead.
What guns are and don't give me this, they're better than us and they're more important than us. And don't give me this, I back the blue horse crap. Because is the blue black and you? are the officers of the municipal and state and city and county organizations, are they going on strike to support and defend the citizens of the state of Colorado? Are they walking out in support? Have you heard about that yet?
No, but it's interesting because as I'm listening to you,
exempt?
They would probably not mind. A bunch of Democrats would probably not mind if the cops walked off the jobs.
Oh, they would. They would within 24 hours because that's how they get their protection.
Well, wait, we want to defund the cops.
Serious.
Well, no, that's true.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Please.
Let's talk about tyranny. When is as citizens of the United States of America, regardless of the state, are we going to stand up and stop allowing the states to enact laws that exempt itself? And I'm absolutely positive that all of this high-capacity magazine horse crap, that people who work for the state are exempted.
Of course they are.
That is the definition of tyranny.
Correct.
When you have a legislation and a government and executive branch that say, well, these laws apply to the peasants, but not to us, the ones who steal the peasants' money, the ones who are using the peasants' money to buy these guns and so on and so forth, those laws don't apply to us. Why is the citizenry, why do we allow our supposed representatives to pass laws that exempt themselves that they apply on us? Is that not the definition of tyranny?
Absolutely. And I like your operative word there, allow. Because as you said that, have you ever been watching TV or something and somebody says a word on TV that you're actually reading at that moment, exact moment in time? That happens to me all the time. There's got to be a name for it. I don't know what it is. But it happens to me all the time. Sometimes combinations of words. It's very bizarre. But as you were saying that, I was looking at this. SB 25003 allows a person to purchase a semi-automatic firearm with a detachable magazine after undergoing a background check and completing a firearm certification course that includes information on safe guns usage, federal and state firearm laws, de-escalation, and crisis intervention strategies, range time, and more. But this is obscene what they've just done. Now,
shall not be infringed. That's an infringement. Shut up.
The firearms industry is going to be hurt in Colorado badly as a result of this because
it should be.
Their ultimate goal, you're right, their ultimate goal is to put them out of business. This is what they're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Paulus, if he had any more political designs, which he does, just neutered himself. He might, the Democrat Party might love him, but this ain't going to fly outside his state. The rest of America is not going to put up with this. He cannot run for higher office on this. So it was a really stupid move if he has any designs on any higher political office. That much I can promise you.
Money talks and bullcrap walks. And my question to you is this. Why, and I'll call them out to their faces, why are SIG, Smith & Wesson, Glock, et al., and it's Glock USA, they have a headquarters in Georgia. Say,
11 miles from
me. They
me.
don't care, no? Yeah. Why are these companies selling guns to state agencies in states where their guns are prohibited or forbidden to be owned by the citizen?
That's what I asked to get started with this segment. I've spoken to a couple CEOs on that count.
If they would reach down, find their collective cojones, and say, you know what, cool.
30.
If that's how you want to be, you won't let your citizens own our guns. That's fine. We're not going to sell you our guns.
I'd love to see the industry collectively get together and do something like that. I've said it countless times over the years.
We should be calling them out.
We should be. And you know what the common response is? I'll take it to the break with this. The common response I get is, well, we don't want law enforcement to be harmed in any way. Right? That's what you'll hear. We don't want law enforcement to be harmed because they can't get our products to defend themselves and defend the citizens. Paul, hold that thought.
People in uniforms are more important than the citizens.
Well, there you go. Paul Markel, student of the gun. We have one more segment with him. It's a provocative conversation, ladies and gentlemen. It really, truly is. Colorado, you're a mess. Absolute mess. And I do not blame the individual voter that has been doing all the work behind the scenes. You got screwed. We'll be right back.
This segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Daniel Defense. Visit DanielDefense.com. Now, back to the show.
Yes, back to the show. One segment on a Friday, talking with Paul Markel here in the 6 Hour Studios. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day in front of Monday through Friday, Patriot Mobile Command Center microphone. Make sure to check out PatriotMobile.com. This is a Patriot Mobile phone. This is a Patriot Mobile phone. You too can activate a Patriot Mobile phone. And when you do that using the AAR promo code over on that page or wherever you go, just use the promo code. You're going to get a free month. So make sure to check them out. PatriotMobile.com. Guys, these are the businesses that are going to support you. Coloradans, I mean, you work with companies like this, they're going to be the ones that support you with money. Help them out, okay? You're in a desperate situation. These companies are there to help you and support you, and they will do that. Simply ask. It's not hard to do. We'll be talking with Patriot Mobile, and Colorado will be coming up next week. We were going to have them on yesterday, but we ran an encore for a couple different reasons. But anyway, please go to armedamericanradio.com. Visit all of our partners and support them all. They support your cause. That's what they all do. Let's scratch each other's backs here and help each other out. Coloradans, you need help badly. Most of you behind the blue wall, all of you behind the blue wall do, except for the ones that love all this stuff. Paul Markel, student of the gun, welcome back, brother. It's good to have you. We've got one more segment. Let's keep it going.
You made a great point there, Mark, just now, and is they support you, but do they all? And see, that is something that we as the consumer, as the citizens,
great point,
that we deserve to know where they stand. And we deserve to hear from them, not just some mealy-mouthed crap, but actions, not words. Like, well, we disapprove of that. Okay, then put your money where your mouth is. Mm-hmm. Why is it that the individual is always expected to support the group? Like, we back the blue. Okay, shouldn't the blue be backing the people? Shouldn't the blue be backing the citizens?
Bingo.
Everybody always says, you need to put this bumper sticker on your car and you we back the blue. Okay, where's the blue in this? Well, they don't want to jeopardize their good jobs.
No, let me jump in, Paul. Let me say this. I don't know what law enforcement, where they stood on this, whether it's city police departments. I don't know where they stood. I don't know where the sheriff stood. I know a lot of Colorado sheriffs in the past have come out against a lot of this nonsense. I don't know where they stood on this. I should know, and we're going to talk about it on Sunday.
Because they should have gone public.
Oh, that's a great point.
They shouldn't have waited. You shouldn't have to ask. Their opinion, they should have been way out in front of this to say, I was a cop, man. I wore the uniform for 20 freaking years. And every time I went to work for a municipality, I had to swear an oath to uphold not only the Constitution of the state of Ohio, but that of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. And unless things have changed, and they might have, I don't know. But I tell you what, every person in uniform has to raise their hand and swear to uphold and defend, especially a sheriff, the Constitution of the United States of America. And that is a sacred duty. And if they're going to come out with some mealy-mouthed crap like, well, whatever they say, tell me to do, that's what I'm going to do, that's not an oath.
Now,
and we shouldn't have to wonder what these sheriffs think about it.
I'm fortunate, okay? My police department does support the people. They make those statements publicly. Anytime there's a nonsense law put out there, our sheriff says, no, if you want this, you come to me. We're not going to. Okay, I'm very fortunate in that respect. But doing this for a living, I'm very well aware of those who are not. And we have a number of friends that are sheriffs, sitting sheriffs right now, that have been on the program. And I think it's time we bring a few more of them on, quite frankly, to have a conversation about this, because you're dead spot on. They should be very vocal about this in the legislative process. They should be screaming from high heaven, not just living it up to, let me go back to the tweet here, because I want to give this guy a shout out. It was a great response, and I appreciate it very much when he put it out there, because he wasn't being a smart aleck to me. He was asking the question, my God, what more do we have to do? And that was from Rains Garden, Rain Haynes, at Rains Garden on Twitter. And, again, I don't know. That very well could be the case. Maybe they did. I am not aware of that. I'm not unaware of that. I just did not look at it. And we have good friends in Colorado that Amanda and Ava, will talk with them and bring both of them separately to the show and keep this conversation alive, because this is a mess in Colorado. There's no question about it. But Paul, you're right. It's impossible to argue with that. It really, truly is. And we've seen how effective law enforcement can be. When we talked about Albuquerque, New Mexico last year, if you recall, when Grisham came out with all this nonsense about no CCW in Albuquerque city limits and all this garbage. Democrat sheriff stood up and said no. Democrat prosecutor stood up and said no. Okay? Not going to happen on my watch. I will not enforce this. And we need more of that, Paul. We need more.
They're supposed to be leaders. When they slap that star on, or 5 stars, I don't know where they're at now. It's crazy. They make themselves like 5-star generals. But when they put that star on, they accept a position of leadership, whether they want it or not. You know, they ran for office, they got the votes,
yeah.
And a sheriff is a big position in a county.
He's the biggest position in the county.
He's the. You know who the only person that can arrest a sheriff?
No, go ahead.
The county coroner. You're like, what? Yeah, it's weird. At least that way it was in Ohio.
I actually never thought about
that. But yeah, we expect leadership from these people. That is what their constituents deserve from them.
Yeah, but Paul, let's take Denver as an example.
Garbage.
I don't know who the Denver chief of police is, but I can promise you that the Denver chief of police serves at the pleasure of the mayor. The Democrat runs the city of Denver. The Denver Democrat mayor hires someone that like-mind him or her, period. Rubber stamps everything. We see this in every single Democrat city. Meanwhile, you have sheriffs that, for the most part, stand up for the most part. There's outliers, no doubt. There's outliers in red states. But for the most part, sheriffs stand up and say, nope, because it's the sheriff that rules the county. The single most powerful man in the county. The sheriff can tell the feds, go pound salt. We will not enforce this. Not going to happen. Period. So, yeah, it's a mess, Paul. There's a part of me that wants to say, just get out. But I understand that many of you cannot do that. Many of you do not have that luxury.
30.
And if you are stuck, you must pound the table louder. You must leave more phone calls and messages. You have to scream louder. You just have to. And then let the cavalry come in behind you and see if we can't clean this up in the courts. I can promise you there's going to be challenges. But what a mess you've gotten yourself into. Because it's the voters in Colorado, and I'm not talking about the individual. I get the frustration. It is maddening. Paul, where can people find you and listen to you and read you and all that cool stuff?
Studentofthegun.com.
Pretty much that simple. SOTGU.com, by the way, too, ladies and gentlemen. SOTGU.com and Student of the Gun. Paul Markel, Student of the Gun. We love you, brother. The professor. You're the real deal. Thanks for being here on Fridays with it. We appreciate it. With us, we appreciate that
You're
very
welcome.
much. I'm going to be reaching out to you after the show airs. Got a couple of things I want to talk with you about. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get up and do this again Sunday night. We'll already be up. We don't have to get up. We'll already be up. But this will definitely be on the table with a whole litany of guests coming up this weekend. Kwong Win from Arizona will be here. He's got some interesting stuff to talk about. We'll talk with Ryan Petty, who will be in the roundtable, and others. No doubt, Alan Gottlieb, AWR Hawkins, and we'll see who else we can bring in. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you on the radio on Sunday, guys. Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate it very much. It's a Friday. Enjoy your day. Spring is here, right? No matter where you're at, spring is here to whatever degree it is, wherever you are. It's definitely here in the great state of Georgia. But guys, make sure to tune in on Sunday. Please like and share the social media posts. Get that word out there. Help us take back social media. We appreciate that. Many of you have. If you do not subscribe to Armed American Radio, please do so. It's real simple. Go to your favorite podcast platform. We're everywhere. Been out there for 16 years. Load the show. Subscribe to it. Never miss an episode of the live national radio broadcast. And until we meet on the radio again on Sunday, carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would ever be caught outside his cave without his club. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Yep.
All right, Holmes.
It's a wrap. It's time for the weekend to begin.
It's time for the weekend to begin. I took a sip of Maker's Mark right mid-segment.
Oh, that's fine.
There you go.
All right, dude. I'm out of here.
All right, Holmes. I will see you on Sunday. Try to enjoy a weekend.
If there's a weekend in here, I'll try to enjoy it.
You got to make it, man. It's the best we can do. Believe me, I feel you. I'm right there with you.
Oh, man.
I know. Remember, dude, I'm doing the same times you are, so I feel you.
Oh, you're not doing the same amount, though.
No, I'm not doing the same radio you are, but I'm doing the 6 days, bro. I get it. So, all right, Holmes, I'm out. Enjoy your weekend. Drive safe.
Yep.
See you on Sunday.
You too, man.